Dashlane is one of a handful of time-tested password manager apps on the market today. And if it's what you're looking into right now, you've come to the right place. In this video, I'm not only going to walk you through the desktop and mobile app software, I'm also going to explain all the various features Dashlane offers, how it compares to the competition, and then give you my 2 cents on whether or not Dashlane is worth your time and money. Welcome to another All Things Secured review video. My name's Josh, and I started using Dashlane back in 2016 when I woke up one morning to find that both my bank and email accounts had been hacked. Now, hopefully you're coming to this video right now not under the same circumstances, but still, I'm glad you're looking into this idea of using a password manager app. Now, in case you're not 100% sure exactly what a password manager app is or how it works, let me just give you a quick overview. A password manager app works by helping you create stronger passwords, storing them in a secure vault behind a single master password, and then helping you to conveniently retrieve those passwords as you're logging in both on your desktop and your mobile device. Of course, there are some free options that do exactly what I just shared right there, but services like Dashlane, 1Password, LastPass, and others offer additional features that I'll walk through in just a moment. Now to begin, I'm going to walk over to my desktop computer and show you not only the desktop software, but also the browser extension. So after you've installed Dashlane on your desktop, this is the screen that you're going to be starting with. Now, I've already been using Dashlane for a while, so I have over 400 logins that are here in my Dashlane vault. And you can see that here on the vault side left where you have your passwords. From here, I can search for specific passwords if I wanted to. I can add a new password, which I wouldn't normally do in the app. I would normally do that within my browser, but you can do it here. And you can actually create and generate a password from within the app itself. But here on the left, you've got access to your passwords. You've got access to secure notes that can only be viewed if you have the master password. Personal information, if I wanted Dashlane to fill in all of my name, birth date, all of that stuff in forms that you have to fill out. You have payments. Personally, I only have one credit card that I use and want to have stored in Dashlane, but I can have it automatically fill in if I'm buying something online with my credit card number, with my expiration date, all of that information. Of course, I would have to use my master password to access that, but it is there if I want to use it. Same with IDs, passwords, driver's license, anything like that. And then receipts. This is something that I don't see with other password managers, but they offer to save any online receipts for you. This isn't a feature that I use very often, but it is there. And finally, security here. Dashlane gives us a password health score. So it looks at all of our passwords and determines how well we've done in creating and using our passwords. So in this case, you can see with my current setup, I have 111 safe passwords, but I have 127 that have been compromised, 258 that have been reused, and 130 that are weak. Obviously, I have some work to do. So if we were to go into our password health, it's actually going to show me which online logins have been compromised. If I go back into the identity dashboard, you'll see these security alerts that show me, okay, back in 2019, Canva had a data breach and my login was compromised. And that login's been reused on, let's say, many of these logins here. So I need to go in and change my passwords for all of those. Now, if you look at this and see, wow, 127 logins that have been compromised. That would take me a while to go and change all of those, and it's true. So there's a couple things you can do here. First, you can have Dashlane tell you which ones are considered critical accounts. Now, granted, these are the ones that Dashlane thinks are critical. It may not match up with ones I think are critical, but I can go through and I can have them. So that, brings me down to 69 compromised accounts, or I can go through and manually just choose which ones. They also have a password changer tool, which is really neat, although it doesn't work as well as I'd really like it to. I can go through and actually have it change a password automatically. So let's see how this works. If I were to change my Vimeo password, Dashlane has the ability to log in, as you see it doing right here, and then change the password for me. So if there was a login error, I'll show you again here. So where I can log in and it will automatically change the password. Now you notice there's only about 5 or 6 logins here. You can see the login successful, and it's going to show me that it's saved the new password in Dashlane. Great. That took me all of 10 seconds. That's awesome. The problem is there's only 6 of those accounts that are here out of the 127 that need to be changed. And the reason is that the standard for changing passwords with every login is just different. And so Dashlane doesn't have the ability to go in and do it automatically. So I would have to click here on replace now. It would bring me to that website and I'd have to manually change and then re-update the new password. It is something that I recommend you do for very critical passwords, but it's something that maybe you only change a few of, as you're going along and logging into your different accounts, that you change the ones that are compromised, reused, or weak. Now, before we go into the settings, I want to look at this contact sharing. You have the ability within Dashlane to share certain items or passwords. Let's say with a colleague, a friend, or maybe a family member. Let's say I wanted to share for some reason my Twitter account with one of them. I can tell them Twitter. I can, say that I'm going to send it to my wife. And then I have the option to either give her limited rights or full rights. Limited rights means she just has access to be able to log in. She doesn't get to see the password. She couldn't change the password if she wanted to, but she has the ability to log in. Whereas full rights gives her access to see the password, change the password. It's almost like handing her the password in written form, where she can do whatever she wants with it. So you want the downside to sharing passwords through Dashlane in this way is that they have to do it within Dashlane. So if they're not a Dashlane user, they will have to go and download Dashlane in order to access this shared password that you have. Now, on the plus side, that means that you have control over what they can see, what they don't see. And also, they don't have to pay for Dashlane. There is the free version of Dashlane that allows them to download it for free and get access to this password. But that's the downside, which is they have to create a Dashlane account in order to use this shared password. Emergency is another really important thing. Let's say that you, for some reason, something happens to you, God forbid you pass away. You want to have an emergency contact who has the ability to at least access your vault. So obviously I've had my wife as my contact here. And you can add that emergency contact and a waiting period. So what that means is my emergency contact can request access to my vault, and I can set a waiting period where after 10 days, where I can automatically, if I'm, everything's fine with me and they just need to access something, I can grant them access immediately. Or if I've passed away, there's a waiting period after which if I haven't done anything, they will automatically be granted access. So if I've passed away, my emergency contact after this waiting period, whatever I set it to be, will automatically get access to my passwords and therefore have access to all of my accounts, which is great. Something you really need to think about whenever you're using a password manager like this is what happens if you are incapacitated or if you pass away, something like that. So that is the way that Dashlane sets this up. I'm going to look at a couple more things before we move on to the browser extension. One of them is a VPN. So Dashlane is one of the few password managers that comes with a VPN. Normally, I would probably recommend people to use a separate VPN. I don't like companies trying to offer too many different things that are kind of outside of their wheelhouse. But I'm going to show you what it looks like for Dashlane to set up my VPN. So I need to allow Dashlane to set up the VPN configurations with my computer. Now, once you've allowed Dashlane to set up those VPN configurations, you can now go up here and connect. You can select a specific country that you want, and then you can just connect to that VPN, and you're going to see when it actually does connect. It's in status connecting, and now it's connected to the United States. You can choose which country. Now, the list of countries is somewhat limited, and you don't have a lot of control over what kind of VPN connection. These are things that would be better done with an actual VPN, but it is something that Dashlane does allow here, and I think it's a value add at the very least when you're if you don't use a VPN. And a VPN is something that, if you don't know what it is, watch this video here. A VPN allows you to make a secure connection with a server in another country. It can mask your location. It can also secure you over public networks where your data might be a little more exposed. So I'm going to disconnect here and finally give you a look at the preferences. So let's look at these preferences here. You have general preferences of saving the password during the login and registration. And then as you're setting up Dashlane, this is something that you'll want to do to help you set up the logins a whole lot faster. You can save passwords with auto login by default. Again, I'll show you what this looks like whenever we're looking at the browser extension. You can save form filled data. You can suggest adding data to Dashlane if you don't have any. You can show Dashlane at login. All of these are just general features that you have. And then you can have how it looks when you're actually using it, whether you have it in the menu bar, which I don't really like, notifications that come up on the upper right-hand side of your desktop screen. Sync, obviously you're going to want to sync between your different devices. I have Dashlane on my phone, I have it on my iPad, and of course my browser extension. And so I can force sync now here, or I can even go up to this menu option and tell it to sync now if I wanted to. Of course, I can look at my account, edit any privacy settings, change my master password, anything like that. And then this is where I want to spend a little bit of time here is on the security. In order to change anything here, I'm going to have to enter in my master password. Sorry, I'll let you look at this here. So I've got basic settings. In order to view a password, ID, credit card, all of that stuff, Dashlane's going to force ask for my master password. And this is just a security setting that I want. You don't have to have that, but you want to have, I don't want anybody who has access to my computer to automatically have access to everything. And that's where this automatic logout can also be helpful too, because you can set that to be never, which means that you're always logged in as long as you're on your computer. But again, if someone has access to your computer, if they somehow are able to get in, I want that log out to happen probably about every 30 minutes so that after 30 minutes, if I'm trying to use a password, I have to put in that master password and then ask confirmation before log out. Another thing is two-factor authentication. If you're not familiar with two-factor authentication, you can watch my video here to understand exactly what it is and why you would want to use it, but I highly recommend you set up two-factor authentication. I've got one key set up, and you can tell Dashlane when you want two-factor authentication to be used. At the very least, I recommend that you use it whenever you're logging in from a new device. So a new device can't be set up without your key, without you physically being present there. So no hacker in another part of the world can use your Dashlane account without that key. Or if you're super secure, if you are like just highly paranoid about stuff, you can have a key anytime you log into Dashlane. That's entirely up to you and your security sensitivities, but I definitely would recommend that you use two-factor authentication in some way. And finally, advanced settings, which allows you to verify the browser code signature. If you're using something like Chrome or Firefox, then you're not going to have to worry about this, but it is an advanced setting. So this is a look at the desktop app. I'm going to move now over into my browser extension on Chrome. They also offer one for Firefox, but I'm going to show you the browser extension in Chrome. So as you can see here in Chrome on the right side, I've already installed the Dashlane browser extension on Chrome, and I've already logged into it. I've already had to use my two-factor authentication key to verify that I am who I say I am. So from within here on the browser, I can actually search and use all of my different logins. And it makes it so easy, in fact, that when I'm on my desktop, I rarely open up the Dashlane app itself. I'm almost always exclusively using the browser extension. I can search for specific logins, but I can have a generator, a password generator, where I have control over exactly how long it would generate the password to be, what kind of symbols, letters, digits it would have. I can save that as a default. This is something you can use if you don't want to have Dashlane automatically using, when I'm creating something, create a password for you. You can generate a password on the fly like this. But this is how I would look in. So let's say I wanted to log in to Twitter. So you're going to see here that it automatically filled in my username and it automatically filled in the password that I have so that I can click. Normally it would auto log in. For some reason, Twitter does not allow for an auto login. So I'm just going to click on login here. And then I have two-factor authentication set up with text message on Twitter. So I'm not going to necessarily log in, but you can see that it did allow me to log in here. All right, now let's try this on Facebook and show you something slightly different here. You're going to see that it automatically recognized that I was on Facebook, and then it clicked the login for me. And that could save you a lot of time when you're logging into a lot of different accounts. You don't have to find that login button. Usually Dashlane will automatically log in for you. And that's an incredible feature that I haven't seen with a lot of the other password managers. All the other password manager apps, you kind of have to click that login yourself. It doesn't work for me here because I use something known as a double-blind password strategy. I use it only for my most sensitive accounts, my social media, Facebook specifically, my banking and my investment accounts. And if you don't know what a double-blind password strategy is, you can look at this video here. I highly recommend you check it out if you're going to be using a password manager app. But essentially what it means is I want to add an extra. I don't want what I'm storing in Dashlane to be my actual password. So what I can do here, and this is a setting that you can look at for anything. If I'm going in here and looking at my Facebook and looking at these more options, I can have it, right now it's set to always automatically log into this website. Now for this website, I don't want that to happen. And if I were to go into my preferences in the Dashlane app, I can actually set it to where it auto logins for everything, or it doesn't set that auto login. I prefer to have it not do that, but that is a feature that some people absolutely love. So it's completely up to you. So I'm going to have it always not log me in, and I'll show you why in just a moment. So let's go back into Facebook. You're going to notice that it automatically fills all of that information in except for my extra key. And so that's what's going to allow me to log in when I have that in there. The only thing that I wish was different here on the desktop app that you're going to find isn't an option here, that it is for, like, let's say one password or even Bitwarden, which is an open source, is that Dashlane does not allow you to sync your vault to a local or to your own cloud storage. So what that means is you have to sync through the Dashlane cloud storage. They have their own proprietary security. They have high security on the vault that you are uploading. But the fact remains that some people want to keep the vault on their computer only, or they want to keep the vault in their own, cloud storage, Dropbox, OneDrive, whatever. Dashlane doesn't allow you to do that. And that is one big downside to their software here, is that you have to have a subscription, a monthly subscription or annual subscription, and you cannot store your vault. You don't have control over your own vault. They have control over where it goes when you're syncing between devices. And that's a little bit of a problem. Great. Well, a password manager app is the kind of software that gets used on your mobile device just as much as it does on your desktop. For most of us, that means our phones. But since the app is pretty much the same on an iPad, and an iPad offers a bigger screen to see, I'm going to go ahead and give you an overview of the Dashlane app on my iPad. All right, as you can see here, the mobile app on my iPad here looks very similar. You've got on my vault, I can click on the different passwords that I've got. I can see the secure notes that I have, my payment info, my personal info, and the IDs that I've all stored. And this gets synced between both my device here, my phone, and my computer. I can keep my contacts. This is where the sharing happens. So I can create a new share for a specific one of my logins. I've got my emergency contacts for if I pass away or if something happens to me. And then you've got the different tools here. We've got the identity dashboard, which again shows me the score for my password health and all the places where I need to really be updating, changing passwords that are either weak or reused or have been compromised. I've got the VPN, which again, like I said before, I prefer to use a standalone VPN because this lacks a lot of different features, such as what kind of connection protocol I'm using, but I can choose a specific location. You can see all the different countries listed here, and then I can click on connect, and it will connect, and you're going to see up here that there's going to be a VPN connection that happens right there, the VPN connection. So I'm connected to a United States, and it'll tell me how long I've been connected. But really, that's all the control that I have. So this is a feature. It's a great feature add, a value add if you're going to be using a lot of public networks, but I would prefer to actually have my own VPN. You've got the password generator, which just like the desktop gives you a lot of control over what kind of password that you're using. You've got the password changer, which again, just like the desktop, there's only a few of them that can actually be changed automatically. You can connect one of your devices. I don't see why they have to do that. And then inbox scan, it's going to go through and look at all the different emails that you have so that it can do what's known as dark web scanning to see where your information maybe has been compromised. Within the settings, you've got the ability to tell the app whether you want to use your Face ID or a PIN code to log in, or if you just want to use your master password. Again, auto logout, you can make that never, but I would definitely set it to at least, at the most 10 minutes here is what it gives you. And then lock on exit. Now, in order to properly use the mobile app, you want to make sure that you've got it set up correctly. So if I'm going into my settings, I want to scroll down and find passwords and accounts. And I'm going to look for the autofill passwords, and I want to make sure that Dashlane is set as my autofill password. It's probably automatically going to be on Keychain if you're using an Apple device. You want to switch that to Dashlane. And what that's going to look like is whenever you're logging into somewhere, let's say I want to log into twitter.com, when I click on passwords, I have my Face ID set. So it's going to check my Face ID, and then it's going to give me access. And this is my Dashlane vault, and this is the setting that it's in. So it's all set up. It's automatically filled that in, so all I have to do is log in. So that is the easy way to get something like this set up on your Dashlane device or on your mobile device, and it really just works seamlessly, mostly using that password autofill on your device. All right, now that we've had a look at the desktop and mobile app softwares for Dashlane, it'll be a little bit easier to understand the different features that they offer. I'm going to start by sharing the Dashlane features that are pretty much standard across the industry and that you'll find in any other password manager app on the market. First, Dashlane allows you to securely sync all of your passwords, IDs, credit card information, and notes across multiple devices. They give you unlimited passwords on as many personal devices as you want. They offer excellent browser extensions. Dashlane lets you securely share your passwords. And finally, Dashlane gives you an emergency contact. Now, these features are pretty standard across the password manager industry. So what are the things that Dashlane offers that differentiates it from competitors like 1Password, LastPass, or Bitwarden? First, Dashlane offers a free version of their software. Now, granted, it limits you to only 50 passwords per device, and there's no syncing between devices. So in reality, I would consider this more of a freemium version because, I mean, let's be honest, we all have more than 50 logins at this point. Second, Dashlane gives you an auto login feature. While every password manager app can autofill your passwords, Dashlane's the only one I know of that does the auto login, which means that once you land on that login page, it will recognize which password needs to be input, and it will click the login for you. So you save that extra few seconds of finding that login button and clicking it. Next is password health. Dashlane gives you a score for your password health that tells you how you can fix any problems that might exist. The software tells you which passwords may have been compromised by any recent data breaches, which passwords have been reused, and which logins are just generally weak. Dashlane offers a virtual private network, and it's the only password manager app I know of that does this. Really, it has nothing to do with passwords whatsoever, and I would rather use a dedicated VPN app anyway, but it is a unique feature that Dashlane offers. And finally, two-factor authentication. Dashlane gives you the ability to enable two-factor authentication whenever you want to add a new device or log in. Now, before I move on to my final thoughts in this Dashlane review, I want to point out where Dashlane really shines, and that's the business enterprise users. Now, as a business, you're really thinking about three things. You need a software that's easy to install and use so that you're not having to go around and help all your employees set it up. You need high security so you don't have to worry about breaches. And then you need the ability to control and monitor everything that's happening on a corporate level. Dashlane does this really well. Their admin console is great and gives you amazing control over everything that's happening in the company, including individual security scores for your employees to see how well they're implementing the software. Best of all, Dashlane gives your employees what are known as smart spaces, which are just different vaults for your personal and corporate passwords. And this makes sure that you're not compromising your personal security or the corporate security by keeping it all together in one place. So what's my final verdict on Dashlane? It's a well-designed piece of software that's both easy to use and install for individual and corporate users. It's built with the highest level of security, although I would never trust 100% one piece of software for all my security. And it does a great job of alerting you to any password health issues you might be having. For individual users, I love the fact that Dashlane gives you a free version that you can download, install, and try right now with no strings attached. But in my opinion, Dashlane really shines for the business users. And if that's you, they offer an admin console that's best in class, and they give you the kind of control and peace of mind that you need as a business owner or a business manager. Is it worth a few bucks a month? In my opinion, yes, but the same can be said for pretty much any password manager app. It really boils down to the user experience and the unique features it offers that you might find useful. In the end, it doesn't matter whether it's Dashlane or one of the other options. You need to have something to help you create and store better passwords. All right, so was this Dashlane review helpful for you? If so, give it a thumbs up. You can ask any questions in the comments below. And as always, I encourage you to subscribe to the All Things Secured YouTube channel where I offer weekly videos for online security tips and reviews.